Hello there, and welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft HardRock. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We are flying, as you can see. We just went out and collected the last of the resources we need to finish off the arc furnace. So, in a minute, we're going to jump into a pair of clips to show you what we did, what we got. And, yeah, now we're heading back home. When we do, we'll finish the arc furnace, and I think we'll get started on the fermentator and the other thing we need in order to start making biodiesel, because then we can start making the diesel engine also, which will allow us to power the base instead of using, well, in addition to the thermal generator we're already using. So I'll see you when we land. Oh, by the way, I know it's 2 days late, but Merry Christmas. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday. You know, provided you could actually take off properly, this makes traveling so much easier. I just went and picked up the nickel we need for the arc furnace, and now I'm heading out to get the kaolite and graphite that we're going to need, and I might as well try to grab some lignite while we're out there so we can start making some coal coke. Flying by plane, much better than walking or the gyrodyne, and we're generating new chunks as we go too. Okay, full disclosure, I had to disable the Weather 2 mod, the one that causes all the tornadoes and whatnot, because I got caught in a crash loop where a tornado spawned practically on top of me. Wow, there's a lot of creepers under there. And I could not log back into the game. Every time I would log in, I would crash immediately. Couldn't do anything. So, had to go in, disable the mod until I can get back to our base, where I will re-enable the mod again. But yeah, so full disclosure, wasn't fun. Meanwhile, I got all the kaolite we need, all the graphite we need, and I even picked up a bunch of lignite, which is coal, a natural coal, which we can turn into coal coke. Something I did not know is when you harvest the lignite, you do get sulfur and carbon being released by it, so it makes a mess. Don't have a torch in your hand when you are mining coal, unless you want some free detonations. Anyway, time to go home, and we will build our arc furnace. Oh, and yeah, I arrived here, started mining the kaolite, and a massive tornado spawned on top of my head. Thankfully, I was underground at the time. I was not picked up and thrown around, but it cleared out a large area over here. Thankfully, did not affect my plane. My plane, as you can see, the tornado was, well, cleared out all the grass right around my plane, but my plane was fine, so that's good. And yeah, this plane makes getting to and fro so much easier. And it's pretty fast, too. It is Christmas morning. I literally just woke up and logged in. And Mechanism is saying Merry Christmas. So, Merry Christmas. I have re-enabled the Weather 2 mod. And thankfully, the block is still here. Because when you disable the mod, of course, any blocks from the mod disappear. The mod reappeared once I re-enabled the mod, so I don't have to cheat in a new one to replace that. And if you hadn't noticed, I did build this little hut here. It has 2 windows, so I can see and access our builder in here, and he's actually kind of safe. He has some nice trades. Pink sand for diamonds, dirt for pyrite, sandy loam bricks for emeralds, so yeah, that's why we're keeping him safe. I was out looking for, here we go, kaolite and graphite. And I picked up a few other things too, including some, well, I had to take care of a pack of wolves who decided I looked good. Or should I say I looked delicious. Anyway, we have, well, I actually have a bunch of meat now that I have to cook up, but we have kaolite, we have graphite. I have to process that down. We can make a whole ton of kaolite fire clay. So we can make a whole ton of fire clay bricks. And then we need to start building a find a location to build the arc furnace. Now I've been told the arc furnace does take a lot of power. And here's my issue with my builds. I don't always plan out exactly how much space I'm going to need for something. This is not big enough. I'm probably going to have to expand out this way. And maybe this way some more just to have enough room for everything. So we're going to be... I haven't even finished building and I need to expand what I'm building. And yes, I've got some dust piled up. I had a chimney system and a vent to pull dust down. Dust doesn't like going down, it likes going up with the vents. So I gotta figure out what I'm doing with that. Same in here, I need to build a vent system so I can pull this carbon into the vent. That requires leather. I happen to have some small hides to turn into leather. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna be working on. But we have everything we need. Oh no, I hear wind. I might crash. I have everything we need in order to start making the... I had everything. Where'd it go? Here we go. I have almost everything I need to make the arc furnace. Just need to make all the fire clay bricks and then actually build it. And it looks like I need to make the vacuum tubes. Something with the vacuum tubes? Light engineering bricks. Yeah. Okay, I need to make light engineering bricks still, which means I need to make more of the vacuum tubes, which requires nickel. I don't have nickel. Okay. Know what I need to do? Now I'm going to go out and do it. I've added an expansion on over here. We're going to be shifting all of this to be around this way. I don't know if we're going to need the crushers anymore. Since we now have the immersive engineering crusher. So we might be able to get rid of that. And this is going to move. Which is actually probably a good thing. If we put it over here, then we can have the crusher empty directly into it. And then pull out of there and put it right back into the crusher. It should automate the whole process. Be nice. I have the vacuum tubes right here. So that's 9. That gives us the 9 we need. So we can go make our heavy engineering blocks, not bricks. So that's everything there. And we'll be... Oh, I gotta still make the fire clay bricks. Once we do that, I think we're going to take apart this here. Since the arc furnace, though it does... Well, no, we're going to leave it up for now. I was going to say we can take it apart, but the arc furnace, I think, takes high voltage. And I don't have high voltage set up yet. If I take that apart, then I don't have a way to make steel. And we're going to need steel for the refinery block, the fermenter, and the diesel generator, which we're going to have to make also. Diesel generator is going to be our primary fuel source, power source, once we have the refinery and fermenter set up. However, what I am going to do is make another thermoelectric generator, put it here, and we're going to make some of these create crafts and add-ons mod connectors and use these spools as opposed to the spools we're using there. Well, the spools cost the same, but these connectors are much cheaper. Actually, they're not that much cheaper. This is andesite, copper, and I can use latex versus this, which is copper ingot, copper wire, and terracotta. Yeah, this is a bit cheaper because this is one. You get 6 of these for 1 copper ingot, whereas you get 1 of these for 1.5 copper ingots, right? 1.25. Yeah, so these are going to be more cost efficient, and they will transfer FE for you, and they connect up to 4 others, and then the large ones connect up to 8 others. So we can run power around a bit better, a bit more efficiently using the create ones as opposed to the immersive engineering ones. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, I've been setting up the create add-ons power system instead of the immersive engineering one here. Noticing a few things. First off, I mean, you have to manually set them to whether they're push or pull. That has to be pull. These, I can run a copper off of it. That's good. So now that has power coming from that. But to connect to that, I needed to use a gold cable, which is this. Yeah, and I don't know where that went. I'm out of copper. Gold I have to do. I should be able to do this. Set this to pull. Pull makes sense, but I don't know if that's correct. What's this set to? Pull. Okay, so pull pulls the power, push receives power, and none doesn't matter. So now that's getting power from this, which is going to this, which is also getting power from downstairs via this. Unlike the immersive engineering ones, I don't get electrocuted if I step in them. And because they can be toggled between push, pull, and none, you can turn them off without removing them. So I have that turned off for now, since I'm not currently using it. No point in wasting the power. The problem is, I haven't tested this one yet. Yeah. The problem is the lantern, which I did want to fill the entire base with, using them as my light source instead of using anything else, cannot appear to receive power from these connectors the same way they do the immersive engineering connectors. Now, what I have not tested is, I know I can swap these between top and... Okay, I thought I could. Could have sworn I could swap between top and bottom. Oh wait, that was with the hammer. Yeah, okay. So with the hammer, you can swap between them getting powered from the top or the bottom. But what I need... I cannot connect to that. Can I put that on top and connect it that way? This would need to be push, pull. Doesn't work. So we can use the create additions to send the power around our base, but we cannot power the lanterns using the create additions. The lanterns don't take that much power, so if I need to make a additional thermoelectric generator, since I am gonna make more, I haven't gotten to it yet, I need to go out and get more nickel, because I apparently need nickel to make Constantine. I have enough nickel to make 9.5 ingots, and this takes 10 ingots. So I'm gonna need to go out and make another thermoelectric generator for that. But then if I want to power my entire base lit up using the power lanterns, I'm gonna need another one specifically on the immersive engineering power system. So that's going to have to be what I do. It will wait. I now have a whole ton of extra cables though. And aside from that, I have done nothing for the past 5 hours. Oh, well, not nothing. I have rearranged this a little bit. And I'm now too hungry to run. I have rearranged this a little bit. But that's it, and that's not nearly enough, so I have to actually go about doing stuff. I forgot today was Wednesday. I thought today was Thursday. I was freaking out a little bit because the video has to be up on Friday. I have an extra day. I don't have to freak out about it anymore. Hello, darkness. Oh, this is the last of my wolf burgers. Does this count as cannibalism? I am Arc Wolf after all. And in just a moment, we'll have our last bit of steel, and we will have everything we need to make the arc furnace. Don't have a permanent location yet for the arc furnace. We're going to stick it up next to the crusher, but we can at least get it built and look at it. While that solidifies, I did make a second... Oh, it melted. I made a second thermoelectric generator, but apparently the ice I put down there melted. So we're going to have to correct that with ice that's not going to melt. But there we go. That's the arc furnace quest complete. We're going to stick it over here for now. And I need to look at what it looks like. Uh, 5 by 6. Actually, it would just perfectly fit in the corner over here. Since this is 6 wide. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do that. Let's grab our book, heavy machines, arc furnace. You can pause it, by the way, and you can rotate, so this makes it nice and easy to see what we're looking at. It's a 5 by 5, not a 5 by 6. So I was building it one too long, which explains why I was running out of pieces. All right, that should be correct. And if we click that, there we go. We now have an arc furnace. Same as before, we can give this a redstone signal to turn it on and off. I assume the power input is on the top, so I'm not seeing it on the sides. I don't know where I power it from. Let's see. This one here has a little dot on it to show where the power goes in. I'm not seeing the same sort of dot. So possible this is it up here. We'll figure out in the future. Right now, we actually don't have enough power to truly power this. I don't even have a large connector to connect to it just yet. So we have the arc furnace. We just can't use it just yet. But at least we got it built. So we got that going for us. Let's see. What am I going to need now for the refinery? Some more sheet metal blocks, some more heavy engineering, light engineering, steel scaffolding, redstone engineering. Scaffolding, the iron sheet blocks, those are easy. The engineering blocks are a little more difficult, but at least we only have to make a few, so it's easier. These fluid blocks are actually quite easy. That was the refinery, and that's not what I wanted. The industrial fermentator is likewise fairly easy, so I'm going to get started on making all the bits for these two now. Well, I apparently didn't do enough research. In order to get the arc furnace to work, which I've moved and set up again and connected to power, so it's over here now. But in order to get this to work, we need graphite electrode rods. We can make that with either the metal press, although that only makes them at 50%, whereas if we make the engineer's workbench, we get them at 100%, so there's no point using the press. To make the graphite rod, we need HOP graphite ingots, which requires Pneumatic Craft. Alright, well, Pneumatic Craft is a bit of a pain to set up, but it's not impossible. What do we need? We need the pressure chamber walls. We need at least a 3x3 of those, so 9, 18, 27. Pressure chamber valve, interface, and, well, okay, so 27 minus 3, so 24. We'll need to bookmark all of those. And this is a reinforced block plus a compressed iron. We did get some compressed iron in the nether, so we might go back to get more of that. Reinforced block is any stone block plus compressed iron mesh, which we can get welding, but we need compressed iron wire, which we get by throwing compressed iron rods into the roller. The pressure chamber requires a chamber wall plus a pressure tube, which we're going to need plenty of also, because that's how we get the pressure to the pressure chamber. We're going to need an interface, which is another wall plus a hopper. All right, that's not too bad. And then pressure glasses, I don't think necessary. Yeah, it can be used interchangeably. It's clear glass plus iron sheets as opposed to the walls. So that actually, this would probably be just a little bit cheaper. Yeah, it looks like we can actually use pressure chamber glass for everything but the 3 blocks we need, or these 2 blocks we need, the interface and the valve, which would be a lot cheaper, so we might just do that. But after we do all that, we're going to need some way to provide Pneumatic Craft with pressure. Let's see, this air compressor should do the trick. It's going to require reinforced blocks, a tube, and a blast furnace, which requires a lot of steel. All this steel in order to be able to make steel. We could make a liquid compressor, which will burn liquid fuel to make compressed air, but that requires the air compressor anyway. All right. Is there a... I'm looking to see if there's a cheap starter thing. I think this air compressor is the cheap starter thing. Thermal compressor. Converts temperature difference on opposite sides of the block to compress air. Ooh. Okay, what does that take? That takes the air compressor plus some more. So that's a slightly upgraded version of that. Manual compressor. Manual compressor we can make pretty cheap, but it burns food instead of fuel. Food is human fuel, but... Okay, so that's a couple ideas. But so we're going to need to make the compressor chamber so we can make the rod, so we can put it into the arc furnace so we can make steel. And that's assuming that I can provide it with enough power from these large connectors to keep it going. Even if it is slow, that'll at least get us started, because we're going to need a lot of steel in order to make the refinery, the fermentator, we need to make a squeezer too, the industrial squeezer, because this is how we make... Oh, I didn't even cover that. We get these ingots, we need to make HOP graphite dust, which we can only get by crushing graphite powder or coal coke in the industrial squeezer. We need the industrial squeezer to make the dust. We then need the pressure chamber to make the ingot, which we then use the engineer's workbench to make the rod, which then makes this work. That was a rabbit hole I was not expecting and have not prepared for. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. Let's eat 1 or 2 things. I mean, let's go grab some food, and then I think we're going to jump into the nether. I don't have my nether backpack on me, do I? Here it is. Immune to fall damage and small fireballs from blaze. So we're going to swap that one out. Keep this one here so we can access it. And yep, we're going to go to the nether. Go loot more of that, I was going to say ruin, it's not ruin. Loot more of the nether fortress. And I know there's Pneumatic Craft loot in there, so maybe we'll get everything we need. And we're back in the nether where we last left off. We've got a blaze over there who's taking shots at me. We're going to do all of those in a minute. I hear a bunch of skeletons. And there are some cauldrons over there, so we're going to be grabbing those so we don't have to make them ourselves. Can I use this leather armor for anything? Beekeeping stuff. Insulated clothes. Alright, that might be worth taking. We're going to have a lot of junk. Well, you know, I can grab all this gold armor and just melt it down. Well, got a lot of stuff, but not a lot that's going to be really helpful. I mean, the gold we can melt down. We got some cauldrons here, which can be melted down into iron. And we're going to need 4 of them for the fermentator. So that's good. But most of the usefulness of everything we just looted is being able to be recycled. I don't think I left anything in here. I should probably take the nether wart and the soul sand so I can have those. Here we go. This is a little better. Including a pressed iron helmet, which we should be able to melt down. Maybe. And a little bit more Pneumatic Craft stuff that actually saves us making the pressure tubes. Which, you know, that's useful. Saves us a bit of time. We've got a lot of stuff, but not a lot of useful stuff. Or at least not a lot of immediately useful stuff. But we finished exploring underneath. It wasn't all that much worth noting. Showing off. There's a blaze burner. Not blaze burner. A blaze spawner over there. Up here should be a chest. Yep. For a split second, I thought that was the creaking. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not in this. It's a few updates away. Okay, so we're pretty much out of space to loot stuff. We're gonna have to be a lot more picky with what we loot now. Well, my character's getting warm. You can see the screen starting to turn a little red. So we should probably look to head back out of here now. Plus, you know, I've got to deal with all this loot I now have. And we're just putting all this leather armor we just got to use, making some insulated armor. It's a little strange doing it now towards the end of winter, but we put that on. And now, well, let's take it back off. Without the armor on, our ambient temperature is going to drop down to 2.4 degrees. With the armor on, it's going to be up around 10.4 degrees. So we don't have to worry about freezing anymore with this stuff on underneath our normal armor. Can you see it on me? No. Ideally, you'd want to make insulated armor a lot earlier in the playthrough, as in your first winter. But, yeah, I've had a hard time. Well, not that I've had a hard time getting leather. I haven't prioritized getting leather. So getting leather armor to make insulated armor, not that big of a deal. Our chests are now full. I need more storage space. I can recycle these saddles to leather and a leather apron. Leather apron doesn't have too many uses. I can use it for the vacuum bags for polluting the realms, which will allow us to clean up pollution. But I can also, with a bit of blood, which, yeah, you put a mob in a smeltery. As it takes damage, it'll deposit blood in. So if I do that, I can get some blood, and by combining that with the saddle, we can get a piggyback pack, which will allow us to carry a mob on our back, which might be useful for collecting animals. But we did gather quite a bit of iron, which we can now compress. I may need to convert it into TerraFirmaCraft iron first, and then we can compress it. And we also have a whole ton of gold, which we'll have to convert into TerraFirmaCraft gold to be useful, but that's fine. And then we have all these golden leggings, golden horse armor, iron armor, all that we're going to melt down into iron and gold so that we can use those instead of having to process more this way. It's going to save us a few steps. This makes it so much easier. I don't have to worry about tossing everything right there. If you put a hopper, and by extension put a chest on top, it will deposit one at a time whatever you have in the hopper onto the conveyor belt, which will go through the press and then into another hopper and into the chest. You can put a chest at the end and it'll load directly into the chest, but by putting the hopper, it's also safe. So we're turning the bloom that I made into wrought iron. We have a bunch of wrought iron down here. This is all, okay, not all of it. Think about 40 ingots of it. No, sorry, 50 ingots of it was from the stuff that we looted in the nether. Likewise, we got 85 ingots worth of gold from the nether, which is very nice because all of these crate wires, they use gold wiring, and one golden spool takes one gold ingot, so this will provide us with a lot of wiring. But what we need now to do is turn all of this iron into wrought iron, and then the wrought iron into double ingots, which we then explode into compressed iron with a 33% loss rate. I need, in order to make the pressure chamber, which requires 26, not 27 blocks, I'm going to need 104 iron just for all the glass, chamber glass and or walls. Once I have the walls, this takes a hopper. That's just any double sheet, I think. Yeah, any double sheet. So I could use something, I was gonna say something cheap like copper. I could use gold. So it takes a hopper. That's easy. The valve, I have plenty of valves, so I don't have to worry about that. I have, oh sorry, not valves, tubes. I have plenty of tubes. We looted them all from the nether. They're in one of these mini chests right there. And then we're going to make the compressor. Either the manual one. Oh, I need compressed iron gears. Okay, I can do that on an anvil. I don't really want to do that though. Or the basic air compressor. Requires reinforced blocks, which, as I pointed out before, are going to require compressed iron mesh. But you do get 4 mesh for 2 wire, so you get 8 mesh for 1 compressed iron ingot. That's not too bad. But then I also need steel to make the blast furnace, but I'll probably end up doing that. But we are over 30 minutes and I still have to process a lot of stuff. And it is 1 a.m. on Friday. So I'm going to finish this up, finish editing, which is just this last clip here, and upload it for you guys. And I'll keep working on Pneumatic Craft, prepping it, so next episode we'll actually build all the Pneumatic Craft stuff. And hopefully move on to the fermentator and all that stuff, so we can actually get that arc furnace up and running. So until then, thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Later.